All right, so now since we've gone over both Silver Wolf's vertical investment as well as team options, now we gotta talk about the other 4.2 main headliner, that being Evanescia. And in today's video, we're going to be going over vertical investment options. And I will also make a separate video talking about whether or not you should pull for Sparksy and Yao Guang and how their vertical investment will affect these two characters, because a comment was put in the Silver Wolf video and I want to make sure I cover that because I think it's very important for both of these characters. But anyways, let's go over Evanescia's vertical investment strategy for herself. Again, we're going to be going over Lycones, and then we're going to be going over the Eidolons and what is going to be the key point in which you should be stopping. Something I do want to note here is that for Evanescia, in comparison to Silver Wolf 9s, is that Silver Wolf 9s is the punchline unit. That's what she wants to get. She wants to accumulate more punchline because that is going to cause her to be doing more damage, whereas Evanescia wants to be getting more certified bangers because that not only will help her deal decent amount of damage, but because of the fact that it enables her to get to her ultimate a lot quicker, and that is ideally where most of her damage is going to be coming from, along with her skill and all of that fun stuff. So moving over to the light cones first, I think this is the first point we need to talk about, because whether or not you should go for a light cone if there's a good alternative, or whether you should go for Eidolons. And the light cone for Evanescia states right here, again, keep in mind, this is all V1. The percentages can all change as well as other parts of the kit. So, a rendezvous in the next flower season. First of all, that name's amazing. The wearer is going to have their crit damage increased by a certain percent. Right now, V1 is 60%, and their energy regeneration rate increased by 10%. That is honestly probably one of the biggest aspects to this light cone. The crit damage is very nice, right? Having increased damage output for a DPS character is always fantastic. However, because of how Evanescia's ultimate and how you work up to it specifically works for her, having an increased energy regeneration rate I think is absolutely pivotal to getting the most out of her. So that is a small little tidbit we'll have when we look at other light cones. Next is when the wearer's max energy is greater than 120, for every 10 points of max energy that exceeds this amount further increases energy regeneration rate by 0.3 up to a max of 360 points. It's again good to note because Evanescia's ultimate, I believe right now, without even looking anything up, I want to say it's 240 for the complete max. And that's, again, this kit is very good in, providing more energy regeneration rate. Then when the wearer uses an elation skill, increases the damage received by enemies by 15% for 2 turns. Very good. So let's look at essentially the 4 main aspects we have to this. We have a crit damage increase. We have a flat 10% energy regeneration rate, and because of the way Evanescia's ultimate works, we have a further increase for the energy regeneration rate, which is incredible. I want to say that's an additional 12%, multiplying the 0.3 to the 360. I want to say maybe that's a 12% increase. So possible at this current state, a maximum of 22% energy regeneration rate, which is incredible. And increasing elation skill damage by 15%. Very good. So what other Eidolon, or what other light cones are going to be good for her? Well, and that's where the hard part comes in. Silver Wolf's light cone is not going to be good for her because of the fact that the energy regeneration rate does not exist for Silver Wolf 9s because of the fact of how her ultimate works. So both of them, the light cones will not honestly work with each other. I mean, I guess you could use Evanescia's on Silver Wolf, but I mean, you're just getting a damage bonus. You're not really getting a whole lot of other stuff. Yao Guang, will her light cone work? I mean, you get a speed increase. That's very, very good. And then when the wearer enters combat, it uses ultimate on ally target, so that's not going to be really effective, the ultimate on ally target, given the fact that Evanescia's ultimate is a damaging bonus. So you're not going to be getting great fortune, so that's unfortunate right there. The Herder Shop light cone, how will this work. You are going to be getting an attack increase. Again, that is not going to be beneficial for Evanescia because Evanescia will be converting crit damage into energy regeneration rate, as well as just boosting the amount of certified banger that she has. So that's not going to be useful either. Really digging the bottom of the barrel here. What about Sparksy's Lycon? You get a crit damage increase, that's very good. While the wearer is on the field, for every one elation character in the team, increases skill point upper limit by 1 up to a max of 3. Elation damage will ignore 5% of enemies' targets, stacking up 4 times, very good. If 4 or more skill points are consumed in the same turn, okay, so you're not going to be getting that because of the teammates that Evanescia will be wanting. So for Sparksy's Lycon, this is a possible alternative. Unfortunately, it's a premium Lycon, but you know, there are options, right? You're going to be getting a crit damage increase. It's not as high, but again, that is actually very beneficial for Evanescia. And then being able to ignore enemies' defense with your elation damage is very good. So that is a possible option. And honestly, unfortunately, at this current state, there's not really going to be any other extremely good options. And you do have this 4-star, increases the crit damage by 12% at S1, S5, 24%. So again, not as high, but granted, it's not a premium option. So there's that. Now, moving over to the Eidolons. E1 increases alt type pen by 20% after Fox Teacher uses the attack, which is the Fox. Additionally, trigger 1 elation skill. An elation skill grants the unit 10 additional certified banger. That is busted. Given the fact that Evanescia does more damage with the more certified banger that she has, that's incredible. E2 increased elation by 25%. The vulnerability effect of the trace fulfilled adjudication can stack up to 2 times. So what is adjusted adjudication? When Fox Teacher uses an attack, it additionally inflicts vulnerability on target, increasing damage they take. So increasing that by like 2 stacks. So how that's worded is the 12%, it's going to be able to stack twice. So it'd be a max of 24% additional damage taken the enemies take. That is phenomenal. That's like really stupid busted. E4, Evanescia's damage ignores 15% of the enemy target's defense. Again, stacking with the 24% plus the 15%, you're looking at 39% ignore defense for the enemy. E4 is stupid busted. Like, for the most part, for your DPS characters, you ideally maybe want to get E2, right? Supports maybe E1, it just depends on the character. Evanescia right here, E4, as it's currently worded, is absolutely busted and really stupid good. E6, elation damage dealt by Evanescia Merry makes by 25%. Again, I still don't understand what the Merry make is. I looked at this before and I'm like, I really don't get it. Maybe it'll be changed, maybe I don't know. Let me know in the comments. When teammates whose participation ID is lower than Evanescia's gain certified banger, or when allied target teammates certified banger expires, Evanescia additionally gains 50% to 50% of it as her own certified banger, further increasing her damage. After using her ultimate for the first time upon entering battle, Evanescia regenerates 120 energy, effectively cutting the necessary energy regeneration in half for her. It can only trigger 1 time for every 4 ultimates used. That last aspect really makes this bad, but everything else is really good. So yeah, the participation idea I was told is that in the aha instant, you know, when the names pop, or the silhouettes of the characters pop up in the top left, whoever is triggering the aha instance before Evanescia is that she'll, you know, the certified banger will begin there. In terms of investment value for Evanescia, I do think that her light cone is by far the best option. Like, getting her light cone is essential because of how much it does for her, allowing her to spam ultimates a little more frequently. After that, E1 is a really good stopping point. It's not as busted as E4 or even E2, further increasing the amount of damage the enemy takes, but the fact that you get all attack price pen and you're able to get additional certified banger is phenomenal. And after that, quite frankly, I would normally say stop at E2, but get E4. E4 is broken, given the fact that you would also get the E2 effect. So yeah, that would be my recommendation. It would be Lycon, E1, and then E4. But yeah, that's Evanessia's breakdown.